Hello ladies and gentle peeps, Game Chanel here, and today I want to present to you my very special bow build. But before I go ahead and do that, I want to say thank you for all the subscribers. When I posted the insect glaive build video a couple days ago, I never thought we would get so many subscribers, views and likes on that video. I mean, it's pretty insane. Within 24 hours we gained almost 60 subscribers, which is quite substantial considering that, you know, from 170 to like 230 in 24 hours. You guys are killing it. Absolutely amazing. So yeah, I'm really excited to present you this bow build that I designed. I have to give you a fair warning though, it's really heavy on the decorations. I probably haven't done a build that was like as heavy on the decorations as this one. I do have two versions of this build, so to make it a little bit easier while you're still farming. However, you still need quite a few of the rare gems and decorations for this build to make it happen. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So I realized there's already a lot of bow sets out there, and to be fair, I have tried most of them already because I did the majority of the playthrough of the story and some other investigations with the bow. I really enjoy this weapon overall, and I spent probably the most time in the game with the bow. However, I didn't come out with a build earlier because I couldn't really come up with a build that was really interesting to play, at least in my opinion. Because there's builds out there, they focus on one specific thing and they do that thing really well. But for example, what I'm talking about is the critical draw build, where basically the first attack that you do when you draw your weapon has 100% increased affinity. So basically 100% critical hit chance, depending on obviously what kind of bow you're using and so on and so forth. And so what people did is they designed a build around it, and they made Dragon Piercer really powerful, and basically they would take out the bow, charge it up with side steps, and then do the Dragon Piercer, and then put away the bow, take it out again, rinse and repeat. That's all they did. And basically it looked like this. You take out the bow, you do charging side steps, and then you do Dragon Piercer, like this, and then you put it away and you rinse and repeat, and that's all you did. And I found that to be very boring very quickly, even though obviously the damage numbers could get really high. Like you could see up to like 120 per hit of the Dragon Pierce, and obviously that is an insane amount of damage. However, it has its drawbacks too, because if you're playing alone and you have to charge up the Dragon Piercer all the time and the monster is focusing you, there's no way you can get that off, because it charges for like 3 seconds or so. You can't stop the charge, so there's no way for you to get out if the monster starts focusing you. So you would get hit ultimately, and it stops the attack. And yeah, overall for solo players, I didn't find that to be very good. In group plays, it was a lot better, just because, you know, there were 4 targets basically that the monster could focus, so you knew once it got, you know, once you got rid of it and it started focusing someone else, you should have enough time to do at least 1 or 2 Dragon Piercers. And that was that, and it wasn't bad at all. But also the set became very situational when it came to the monster, just because it's very good if you have big and long monsters where the Dragon Piercer can do a lot of damage. However, when you're fighting something smaller like a Kuliyaku or an Odogaron or something, like also something really fast that moves a lot, you had your struggle with it, because obviously the Dragon Piercer is only good if you hit a lot of times. And you know, if the Odogaron is showing you like a broad shot and you can only see the head and the shoulder or something, and you get like 2 or 3 hits, that's not a lot of damage. So overall I found this to be a very situational build, and so I tried to come up with a build that was like a more all-around build, something like that, if I would say. So it doesn't do anything out of the ordinary, or meaning basically it doesn't do one specific skill very well, but it does all the skills pretty well. So rather than, you know, putting all the skills and all the energy into one specific attack, I try to spread it out equally. And so with this build, actually every attack is kind of viable. You can adapt to your, you know, enemy, and you can also adapt to the kind of playstyle that you do. But before I show you the damage numbers, let's go over the gear real quick so you have an understanding what kind of skills I'm running and what kind of weapon I'm using. And I think we have to agree here that this set looks pretty good. I mean, the red and the black is just a great color scheme. And I mean, yes, we do have a blue bow, but I don't think it's really, you know, it's really that bad. Overall, I think we look pretty acceptable here. So let's look at the armor and the skills that they give us real quick. I'm gonna come back to the weapon because I have more to say about that. But let's start over here. We have the Dragon King Eye Patch Alpha that gets us Weakness Exploit level 2 and a level 3 decoration slot. We have the Kaiser Male Beta for 2 levels of special ammo boost and 2 decoration slots. The Kaiser Vambraces Beta for level 3 decoration slot and Weakness Exploit level 1, now ultimately giving us Weakness Exploit level 3 with the Dragon King Eye Patch. We have the Nergigante Coil Alpha that gets us Attack Boost level 2 and Stamina Surge level 1. And then we have the Lavasyoff Greaves Beta for level 2 decoration and the Spread/Power Shot skill. We have a Fitness Charm level 3 that gives us 3 levels of Constitution, very important. And then I have a Health Booster and a Rocksteady Mantle. I would probably switch out the Health Booster for the Affinity Booster. I still haven't done the mission, so I don't have it. But if you do, I would probably use the Affinity Booster here. Alright? So to start out the decorations, I'm using the Sleep Coat Jewel, and that obviously allows me to use sleep coating. And usually the Xenobow doesn't have sleep coating, but with this decoration I can use it, and this is super useful in the beginning of a fight, especially if you fight with a group, because everyone can place down their bombs and then you blow them up. Obviously there's a lot of damage that can be done when you put the monster to sleep, so definitely worth it. Next we have the Mighty Bow Jewel, and this is probably one of the hardest ones to get. I think it has rarity level 8, it doesn't drop very often, and you'll probably have to grind for this one for quite a while. But once you have it, it increases your maximum bow charge by 1 level. Usually you'll have to wear 4 pieces of the Legiana set to get this skill, but we can totally go around that by just having this decoration, so this is why this is so powerful, and it's kind of a must-have in this build too. Next we have the Physique Jewel to further decrease our stamina depletion. So every level gets decreases stamina depletion by 10%. Ultimately we'll have this at level 5, and that's why we need 2 of the Physique Jewels actually. As you can see, I have both of them. So yeah, those are, you know, also rare, but not as rare as some of the others here. Next I have 2 Attack Jewels. One you get from playing the story. The other one, again, you have to grind for it. It's a rare one. If you don't have the 4th one yet, well, you'll lose the 5% critical hit chance and some attack. But for the time being, I think you can also slot in something else here. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, the damage is overall a little bit lower, but I think you can, you can kind of like go around that for the time being while you farm for it. And then finally I have a Refresh Jewel here that further increases the stamina recovery speed by 10%. Ultimately I'll have this at level 2, 20%. I don't need to go above 20% personally, that's my opinion. I'm totally fine with 20% faster stamina recovery, and yeah. So looking at the skills overall, we have Constitution level 5, reducing our stamina depletion by 50%. Now this affects obviously the evading and the charging sidestep, so this is a must-have in this build because we'll do a lot of charging sidesteps over the period of the fight, so very important. We have Attack Boost level 4 to increase our attack and also increase our affinity by 5%. Weakness Exploit that obviously increases our affinity by 50% when we hit weak spots. Special Ammo Boost to further increase the damage of our Dragon Piercer by 20%. Stamina Surge, as I said, stamina recovery speed 20%. Up, Spread Power Shots from the pants. Sleep functionality from the decoration, and then the Bow Charge Plus. So I'm just mentioning real quick because I know it's going to come up in the comments why I'm not using the Rafsol coil and the piercing shot skill. I tested it out, and between this coil and the Nergigante coil alpha, I'd rather have the attack boost just because attack boost affects Dragon Piercer and every other attack that I do. And the damage difference or the damage increase is so small for piercing shots that it really wasn't worth it in this particular build. Now obviously if there is a decoration, I don't have it, but if there is a decoration for this, I would slot it in somewhere. But other than that, I would rather go with the Nergigante coil before I go with the Rafsol coil. So let's quickly talk about the weapon. Now I'm using the Xenometeora, and it has a decent attack. It's obviously not the highest. It's nothing like Diablo's with its 264 base attack. However, this one has 15% affinity, it has a little bit of dragon damage, and most importantly, and this is the reason why I chose it, it has 2 level 3 decoration slots. As you saw, the set relies a lot on decorations, and most of them being level 2 and level 3 decorations. So that's why I really needed these slots, and that's why it shows it. But it also comes with power coating, poison coating, and blast, which are 3 of the most useful in my opinion. Now sleep obviously is also very good, but that's why we have the decoration in it. I love sleep as a coating. It's just, you know, the amount of damage that you can do once the monsters are asleep is pretty great, especially in a group. So that's why I like it, and that's why I have it slotted in there. But obviously you could get away with a different kind of bow as well, something that maybe only has a level 2 decoration slot. Whatever you want to do, you can try and test it out if it works, if it does more damage. I just personally went with this one. I want to give a special shout out now to the alloy bow, and for a limited time, I assume you can get this bow right now. I think as of yesterday, the mission came up, and yesterday was the, let me check the date, so you guys know when you're watching this video if it's already over. Yesterday was the 27th of February 2018, so I think this is a limited event, you know, quest, and yeah, that you can do. And basically you need to get these Nora Brave trophies, and then once you get those, you can basically craft this bow. Now obviously this bow has a very low attack, base attack, but it comes with 30% affinity. That is pretty ridiculous. I can already see this making a build around this with 100% affinity. Obviously it's going to be super easy to get there. Plus it has unlocked element, which means we can use an elementless, you know, boost that increases our attack. So overall, and it has a level 3 decoration slot. You can augment it 3 times. It does have coatings, but they're obviously not the best, unfortunately. But I think overall you should really try to get this bow while you can. I don't know how long the special event quest is going to be up. Maybe a week, maybe 2. I don't really know. But while you can, definitely get this bow. Eventually I'm going to make a build around it. And if you just think about playing the bow in the far future, still, get this bow, make it happen, alright? So tagging on real quick, the augmentations for this bow that I'm using are going to be very simple. Again, it has 15% base affinity. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to increase the affinity by an additional 10%. So that gets me to 25. Then with the 5 that we get from attack boost level 4, we're looking at 30. With the weakness exploit, that's an additional 50. So we're looking at 80% affinity when we hit a weak spot. I'm more than fine with that. That's a very high number. That's a very high chance of critical hits. And I don't really need to go to 100% for this particular build, in my opinion. And so that's just what I'm going to do here. So let's have a quick look at the damage numbers, shall we? I'm using the power coding, so there is no reason why you wouldn't, to be honest with you. And in total you will have 70 shots, 50 you can carry already made, and then 20 nitro shrooms and then 20 files in your inventory. You can go ahead and craft 20 additional power coatings. Alright, so and by the time that you use 70, and let's assume you hit most of them, the monster is probably already dead. If not, you can also swap to 20 blast, which does a lot of amount of damage as well. You can get it to sleep, you can poison it, so you are not gonna run out of coatings, even in group play. I mean, in group play you're probably gonna run out of power coatings before the monster is down, in most scenarios at least, but then you can still switch, and I think overall you're not gonna run out. Worst case, you can still go to the close range coating, which you have unlimited of. So yeah, totally up to you. But I'm gonna use power coatings just to show you my numbers. So I'm gonna stand at an optimal distance. You can notice that by the reticle having this red circle in the middle. See, now it's like gone. So I won't have it, so you get the best, you know, results here. So I'm gonna do a normal shot. It's 18 non-critical. Let me try to get a critical. That was too quick. 22. Then let's do a double. 28 critical. Let's do the triple. 32 critical. And then usually you would stop here, but thanks to the mighty bow jewel, I think that what was it called, we can increase the level by 1 more time. So instead of just 3, so this would stop usually, but now we have the 4, and that gets us 35 additional. So super powerful. Keep in mind that just because you have 1 more level doesn't increase the amount of arrows that you actually shoot. So it doesn't go from 3 to 4, it stays at 3. So you notice how when you do 1 shot, you have 1 arrow, right? You do it twice. The next one has 2 arrows. And then the third one has 3 arrows. And now the fourth one you'll see still has 3 arrows, but they hit a lot harder too. So very, very, very good. Okay, so let's look at the spread. I'm gonna only look at it from a very charged bow. It doesn't make a difference if you charge it 3 times or 4 times. The spread will still do the same amount of damage. Keep that in mind. So I'm just gonna do it at 3. But it does 38 critical, 31 non-critical, and now I'm gonna charge it 4 times just to show you it does the same. Still 38, 31. Okay, so that's that. Now Dragon Piercer, I'm going to show you 2 varieties. Now if you don't charge it, if you just do it, you'll do, well, 52 non-critical. Let's try that again. See, 64 critical. And now let's just charge it. Let's do it this way. And now we do 80. Now I'm well aware this is not like 110, 120 like you used to do with the critical draw, but overall you're not going to use this as much anymore. You'll do a lot of this, and then you know you can also use the arc shot, which is still pretty good. You can actually get it to up to 3 damage. Let me show you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably didn't work now. Well, yeah, it worked. Okay, 3. See, so it's still pretty useful. And then lastly, we have this particular move. When you run up a wall and you do like a charging sidestep into the wall, you'll see you can actually do 126, and I think it fires three arrows at once. So when you can do this attack, try at least, because it does a lot of damage when you hit the arrows. So definitely worth trying. So this is the easier set that I was talking about, and I'm aware that this is not easy to get at all. These decorations, there are some that are really rare and really hard to get, and that's okay. Just keep grinding. But there's a way to make the set even a little bit better. And I don't mean the damage numbers, but I mean the survivability. And maybe actually the damage numbers are affected by that, to be honest with you. But what I mean is we're gonna switch out the Lavasyov Greaves for the Kushala one. And so what we're gonna lose is the spread shot skill from the Lavasyov Greaves. But we're not actually gonna lose it because there is a decoration that gives you that skill. But this decoration, I think, has rarity level 8, and it's very difficult to get, or very rare to say the least. And so a lot of you probably don't have this. And that's why I went with this set, so you can still get the spread power shot skill for the time being. However, ultimately, when you do get the decoration, what you want to do is you want to swap it out. And when we swap it out for the Kushala one gives you level 2 evade extender. Now let me quickly demonstrate to you what the difference is. So, and the evade extender not only increases the evade distance when we do a roll, it actually increases our evade distance when we do a charging sidestep. So just to emphasize that, I'm going to stand in the middle of this barrel, I'm going to do a sidestep, and I'm going to end up in the middle of this barrel. Alright, so I'm going to do it one more time here and here, so keep that in mind. So now we're going to switch out. Sorry. Into the Kushala. I've already slotted in the decoration just so you can see. I have the spread jewel 3 in here, and that increases the power again of our power shot arrows. So there is a decoration for that, so we don't actually lose the skill, but we now gained level 2 evade extender. And now I'm gonna stand in the middle again, do a charging sidestep, and see we go way beyond the first barrel. You see that? And obviously that counts for evasions as well, so we can evade attacks more easily, and we can use this to close the gap for monsters as well. So you know how like when you shoot, let's say, a wyvern or Kushala when there's in the air and like far away, and they fall down all the way, let's say, by the wall over there, and you want to do a charged dragon piercer because now they're down on the ground, you can quickly go there with 3 evasions, see, and then you can charge, and then you'd be able to shoot right away. So it's very easy, very quick to do, and overall you can cover a lot of ground and a lot of distance. And see, I don't even have like any stamina increasing buffs right now, and see how much I can charge around and like how much distance I've just covered. overall, I think this is the set you want to look at. So basically, just to show you one more time, Dragon King Eye Patch, Kaiser Male Beta, Kaiser Vambraces Beta, Nergigante Coil. Actually, I would probably swap this one out at this point because we only have one level of Stamina Surge. If you want this one level to increase your stamina recovery speed by 10%, be my guest, go ahead and use it. If not, you can go with the Nergigante Coil Beta. That still gives you the attack boost. You'll lose the stamina surge, but you gain a level 2 decoration slot, and you can slot anything in there that you want. Probably a good idea. I don't have that decoration slot yet, and I don't know if it's a level 2 or level 3 decoration. I would assume it's a level 2. It would make sense. But basically, to bring your evade extender from level 2 to level 3, you can put the decoration slot in the Nergigante Coil Beta, and then you have a greatly extended evasion distance, even further than what I just showed you. That would be the absolute non plus ultra. And that way you make the most out of this set, in my personal opinion. So lastly, I have a little bit of gameplay for you guys to see from this particular set. As you can see in the video, I'm gonna use pretty much all the skills that are available from the bow. I'm using the sleep coatings, I'm using the charging sidesteps, the dragon piercers, all of it. And it takes me about 4 minutes to complete the mission. However, if I'm not mistaken, the time starts as soon as you land by the arena, and I still had to like buff up and all of that, so I think that took like 30 to 45 seconds. So overall, I think I killed the Radoban in a little bit more than 3 minutes, and obviously it can be done a lot faster with this set. It was literally the second time I tried it out, but I liked the gameplay overall. I think it was pretty fast, and that's why I decided to include it. But other than that, this is it for me. If you have any comments or suggestions about this build, just post them down below. And if nothing else, I'll see you guys in the next video.